Real quick before this video starts, I just want to say a massive thank you to Statius for editing this video. He edited the master plan reaction last year and also got this one done as well. He got this video done really quick, like surprisingly fast. So yeah, I greatly appreciate it. His channel link is in the description. Also at the end there will be a link to a playlist with all of the other Oasis reactions up to this point. And with that being said, enjoy the video. I'm not happy about this. Hello everyone, welcome to the Human Reviews channel, and today I'm actually listening to Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. Look, we had the April Fool's vid done out, now I'm actually fuck's sake, man. I made the mistake of saying on my music submission stream, which you should join by the way, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, 3 PM UK time, you can pay me money to listen to music. I made the mistake of saying, normally Oasis is blacklisted in my streams, I've made it so that people can't send in Oasis music, but I said, you can get me to listen to Oasis, but you have to pay for a full album reaction, and it has to be one of the albums I haven't heard. And someone did it. I was sat there thinking, no one's gonna pay for me to listen to this because they know what the outcome is gonna be, and yeah. Yeah, we were also listening. Yeah, this song being at the bottom of the video. Yeah, don't mind this. This album came out in 2000. It's 10 tracks, 48 minutes. It's got a 63 user score, 64 user score on Album of the Year. I still think that Be Here Now is an okay project. I sometimes do return to the songs that I liked off of that album, and I still think they're okay, to be honest. The other 3 albums that I've listened to, utter dog shit. Definitely maybe. Shrunk on me a ton. I originally gave it a 5 out of 10. Bump that shit down to a 3. Atrocious. What's the Story, Morning Glory? Bloated, overrated dog shit. And then there's also, what, is it the Master Plan? Yeah, the Master Plan. Easily the weakest Oasis project. Fucking awful combination of songs. That I Am the Walrus cover is unforgivable. Be Here Now is okay. Be Here Now has some absolute fucking slappers on it. So, I'm going into this with some slightly higher expectations. I'm going into this thinking, you know what, maybe I'll think this album is okay too. It's only 47 minutes. That's not that long. That's not that long of an album. I want to like this. I want to get the best experience out of this possible. But listen to me. These reviews are not meant to give objective criticism. I'm sharing my opinions, and I'm wanting to get yours in return. Do not act like a pissy bitch in the comments if I don't like this. Please. Track 1, Fucking in the Bushes. Production fucking sucks, but, you know. Chivo. Nah, I'm not gonna make Statius edit this. If you want to edit this, you can. You can. Nah, trust me, I'm not gonna force you to edit it. Are we just gonna get this same riff the entire fucking song? Samples are from the Isle of Wight festival in 1969 when people broke in and didn't pay, huh? Might have to get a Ford F-150 by the end of this song. Yeah, this isn't as bad as I remember. This actually is okay. Samples Jimi Hendrix and also these 3 bits of the Isle of Wight movie festival movie, sorry.
Yes, all are welcome. Yes, indeed. I love them. Fun, beautiful. I'm all for it.
That's not as bad as I remember it being. You know what? That song's actually okay. Could have been a bit shorter. Yeah, pacing-wise, it's not the strongest. It's like a solid 6. Like a 6.4, 6.5. It's nice to see Oasis doing something actually different. Doing something a little more experimental, having the song be entirely based around samples. That's pretty cool. I think that the riff that is going throughout this song sounds pretty great as well. Kids are doing what? Exactly. I'll take what I can get. That is an okay opener right there. Actually feels like a definitive way to open an album as well. Lots of Oasis openers have kind of just felt like being plopped into the middle of an album, but that actually feels like a pretty strong tone setter, surprisingly. Go Let It Out. Oh my god, that production, wow. Cause if you like yourself a lot, go let it out, and go let it out. Was this recorded in a fucking tunnel? You know, I really liked the sound of Be Here Now because it felt like the band actually found out how to incorporate dynamics. Why are we in a tunnel? It's trip hop. It does seem to have some trip hoppy elements, yeah. Is that a fucking Beatles sample? That little synth thing. That's Beatles. Yeah, Strawberry Fields. I don't hate Liam Gallagher's vocals. I just clocked. I'm not like disgusted by the vocal performance like I normally am. I think that the singing here is actually kind of solid. He isn't doing his typical like squeezing and tensing his whole body inflection. It feels like he's actually just letting loose and providing a decent, pretty fluid vocal performance here that isn't, you know, trying his hardest to be as annoying as possible. It's when his vocals get raspy. I like the rasp. I think that the rasp adds like a nice bit of texture to his voice that wasn't really present before. Get past the production and this song's not actually that bad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Strawberry Fields sample. But use the same synth sound? Yeah, but it's also like what's actually being played sounds the exact same. Okay, the back half of this song is really picking up the pace. This fade out fucking sucks. That song got off to like the rockiest start possible, but then it picked up the pace as it went along. I feel like that song got gradually better and better. Yeah, I really did not like how just echoey the production was at the beginning there. It really felt like there was way too much empty space in the mix, and it felt like just like listening to a live performance in a fucking tunnel. As the song progressed, it kind of started to pick up the pace. The layering sort of started to fill out the sound a lot more. And also, Liam Gallagher provides a surprisingly strong vocal performance. I know the 2000s is when people, even Oasis fans, start not liking his vocals, but surprisingly, I think they're very, very solid here. Very Strawberry Fields sound there too. I'm almost certain that that is a Strawberry Fields sample. It might just be the same synth sound, but like the actual part that it's playing sounds the exact same. I'm feeling like a flat 7 on that. Well, a flat 7 to like a low 7, like in the 7 to like 7.2 out of 10 range. Good Oasis songs exist outside of Just Be Here Now. That was not bad in the slightest. Dog shit opened to the song, and the fade out sounded like complete ass, but everything else was actually pretty good. Up next we have Who Feels Love. There's the annoying inflection. There's the Liam Gallagher that I know. The fuck is this? Sound inspired Radiohead to Making Rainbows? Yeah, something like that. These psychedelic sounds don't mesh here. Why am I enjoying this? I'm not. Oh, why am I doing this? Money. What the fuck is even happening? Song feels like it's gone nowhere, but is also moving way too fast at the same time. Fucking hell. What the fuck happened to the nice, open, natural vocals on the previous song? What happened? Now it feels like he's tensing his whole fucking body again, like he does on the old Oasis albums. The harmonies are good when they're both... No, the layering's fucking awful on the vocals, dude. Okay, sweet enough outro. I don't mind this outro. The fade out actually feels, you know, kind of appropriate for this song. Didn't hate the outro. Wow. There's the Oasis that I have come to know. There is the dog shit that I was worried about with this album. Yeah, that was not it. That was a pretty aggravating attempt at working in some 60s psych. That song annoyed me, which is what I'm used to feeling with this band. I've come to expect that at this point. Yeah, Liam Gallagher feels like he's back on his original bullshit where he would have to tense all of the muscles in his body and squeeze out the sounds to be able to sing. He's doing that again. The mix here is fucking atrocious. What a cluttered mess in terms of sound, dude. It feels like walking into a room when an actual bomb has hit it. You know the saying, it looks like a bomb's hit the place when your house is a mess? It feels like an actual bomb has hit this fucking song. I'm feeling a solid 3 on this. Like a 3.5, 3.6. It's nice to be back in the trenches. Up next we have Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is. Incomplete song, filler. Okay. Songs aren't good, but they're not that bad. Unfinished indeed. What the fuck? Get him a better mic, yeah. What is this? TNT by AC/DC? It does sound similar in terms of the melody, yeah. Do you know what sucks? Is that there's actually a good song underneath this. You know, if they actually, like, mixed this song, I feel like this could actually sound good, but it's just so fucking fuzzy. There's no dynamics. It's just a fucking brick wall of noise, dude. Fucking angelic choir vocals. Oh my guys, it's the choir vocals from the end of Finally Peace by Swans. Ford F-150 strikes again, yeah. Good transition. I'll give it that. That was fucking terrible. Wow. I think the most offensive thing about that song is that there is a good song underneath this. I feel like had they actually mixed the song, given it a bit of dynamic range, fixed up Liam's vocals a bit, let him do more than one take. I don't know if he only did one take, by the way, I'm guessing that. I feel like there's actually a pretty good song underneath that. There's some interesting ideas throughout that. I think there's some interesting riffs. The way that the keys are used throughout that song is actually pretty cool, but they didn't mix the song. Were they under like a tight schedule or something? Did they have like a deadline they needed to meet? I don't think I gave this song a score of 100 out of 100. In fact, I gave this song roughly a 23 out of 100. It's a 2.3. Crying fucking shame. This actually could have been a good song, but they just didn't do any fucking mixing. Listen to the demo. Hold on a sec. Sounds better than the actual song, and I'm not just saying that to make a dumb joke. That genuinely does sound better than the actual song. Up next we have Little James. Apparently this is like the worst Oasis song ever, so... Bonehead and Giggsy left mid-recording? Huh? Who? This one's written by Liam. The reason it sounds so bad is because they hated making it. No. Radiohead hated making OK Computer. That album sounds perfect. Hating the process of creating something doesn't always equal a bad result in terms of like the sound. Foo Fighters hated creating the album with All My Life on it, and I think that the production on that album's really strong. I don't think that that's a circumstance that really affects like the production quality. Really? I don't hate this. It's just a little uninteresting. I don't get how people can say this is like the worst Oasis song. This is like, it's just kind of bland. Fucking clapping, really? Oh my fucking god, we're doing this bullshit now. That song started out mediocre, and then at the end, it just tanked. Wow, the ending of that song is fucking awful. Jesus Christ, everything just falls apart at the end there, dude. It's like the song wasn't, like, good to begin with, but it was at least listenable. I think the worst part about this album is that there are good songs underneath these. I feel like there's actually some pretty creative ideas in the way that they're incorporating the electronics and the way they're using sampling. There's some creative ideas here, and I think that they paid off on the first two songs, to be honest. But then, man, everything has just been downhill from there. I'm feeling like a 4.3... 4.4 on that song. That was just rough. Up next we have Gas Panic. It's far from the worst Oasis song, by the way. That's the worst Oasis song, not a chance in hell. What's the worst? The I Am the Walrus cover from the Master Plan. See, this is what I'm talking about when I say, like, the interesting ideas. I actually like the implementation of the electronics here. Some of these, like, whooshing sounds, this all sounds pretty metallic. It's adding a nice bit of texture that I feel like has been missing from a lot of earlier Oasis stuff. The mixing is the only issue I have with this. This mix is really, really weak. Everything just sounds so flaccid. There is no meat on the bone to this mix, dude, but the song itself is actually really well constructed so far. Interesting structure. It's well written. Liam Gallagher providing an actually fairly strong vocal performance here. Nice string arrangement. This was inspired by Noel giving up cocaine, huh? Don't expect the song to go anywhere. I kinda don't need it to. The song's done a good job at building up to this swell at the end here. I don't feel like it doesn't need a big switch up. The lyrics are a bit on the nose, but it's actually doing a pretty good job at getting across way more emotion than most Oasis songs do for me. I do think that the writing here is actually fairly decent. Is that a fucking flute? It's a good description of the feeling of paranoia. Yeah. Again, the lyrics are a little on the nose, but I don't mind them that much. Because it feels actually genuine, at least. Like, it doesn't feel manufactured in the same way that a lot of other Oasis songs can. The emotions feel actually tangible, and like they are actually being felt throughout the song, as opposed to being forced into the song, if that makes sense. That is the best song on the album by quite a decent margin. I'm feeling like an 8.2... ish on that song. That was kind of everything that I wanted in terms of a step forward for Oasis. Its implementation of electronics are fantastic. It has this nice, like, mechanical whirring to it in the background all the way throughout it that gives it just such a rough metallic edge that actually fits the Oasis aesthetic really well, in my opinion. It hasn't got its head up its ass. It doesn't feel like it's trying to force the emotions into the song. It feels like the emotions just come naturally. And it feels like Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher are both actually feeling it in real time, as opposed to trying to shove it into the song, if that makes sense. And on top of that, I think the pacing is fantastic. It's a 6-minute song. It goes by like that. Seriously. It's so well paced, especially considering it's an Oasis ballad. That's legit everything that I needed from this album. I wish that the rest of the songs up to this point could have been that creative. Where did it all go wrong? Two songs sung by Noel. Hopefully they're not terrible. You know that feeling you get. What the fuck was that? Did you hear that? Bullshit. Bullshit. Those are vocal effects. Yeah, that's pretty... That auto-tune is not well hidden at all. Look, I obviously am not the type of person to be like, artists should never use auto-tune. I'm obviously not that type of person. But you have to do a good job at hiding it. Auto-tune is like VFX. It's not supposed to be noticeable. Outside of the really obvious, like, auto-tune, I think that this song actually sounds pretty sweet. The mix feels very full. It feels like everything is brought up to an appropriate volume. There's a decent bit of dynamic range on this track as well. Like, it's basic, but it's sweet. Title also summarizes Oasis well. Yeah, there you go. It also kind of drags. I disagree. I think the pacing of this song is actually pretty solid. Everything feels like it's got a pretty decent amount of motion to it. It moves between its different beats at a pretty decent rate. It doesn't feel like it's spoon-feeding you the information too fast. It's working for me. We got 3 more songs after this one. Pretty solid, but dragged for you as well. I don't think it dragged for me. I think the pacing was actually one of its stronger aspects, as well as being just an incredibly mixed song. That song actually had such a balanced and dynamic mix. Everything felt like it was given the right amount of space to breathe. Everything felt like it was actually performed at an appropriate volume. A lot of the times it feels like even like the performances on some of the worst on some of the worst mixed tracks, it feels like they aren't even playing dynamically, if that makes sense. Here it feels like it's actually being played dynamically as well. I don't know, man. Despite the fact that Noel Gallagher decided to use the most dogshit sounding auto-tune ever and didn't try and cover it up, I feel like that song was actually pretty solid. It was a good track. I'm feeling like a 7.4 on that one. Up next we have Sunday Morning Call. Noel stars in this and loathes it, yeah. He considers Sunday Morning Call the worst Oasis song. He calls it dog shit. We'll see about that. Yeah, the backing choir sounds like fucking stock sound effects, dude. Why is the hi-hat panned all the way to the right? You like the goofy effects on this album? That's fair, I can see it. The biggest sin this song commits is just being a bit boring. I can't lie. It's not bad. Why does Liam sing? I don't know, dude. I really do think that Noel Gallagher is just far more talented than Liam is. I prefer Noel Gallagher as a performer, as a singer, as a writer. I prefer him as an artist. And not only that, I just prefer him as a personality as well. Noel Gallagher's also a dickhead, but he's not as much of a dickhead as Liam Gallagher. Liam Gallagher seems like a liability to the band, you know? Liam is more interesting, but Noel is super talented. I wouldn't even say Liam is interesting, he's just annoying. The biggest sin that song commits is just being boring. It's not bad, it's just kind of a snooze fest. The pacing is so off, it doesn't need to be 5 minutes. The production is fine, but it feels like it loses a lot of its charm going into the back half. The writing is pretty bland, and Noel Gallagher does provide a decent vocal performance, but it doesn't feel like he's really trying all that much. It feels like he's just kind of like it feels like he's half in this song. And the half that's in this song is pretty good, and the half that's out of the song I can just kind of take or leave. I'm feeling, yeah, like a low 5, like a 5.2 on that track. I can see a liar. What the fuck is this? AC/DC, yeah. Did they not finish this one either? What? This ain't Saint Anger, this is Saint Fury, exactly. Yeah, I know. There are people who do genuinely say that. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say Oasis can't be your favorite band. They obviously can. You're entitled to have that opinion in the same way I'm entitled to hate them. Doesn't mean I'm ever going to understand it, though. This isn't that bad. It's that fucking bad. It was fucking terrible, dude. That shit sounded like just as unfinished as whatever the other fuck was. Was it Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, I think was the other one. This sounds just as unfinished as that song does. There is no single defense I can think of for this song. There's some interesting instrumental ideas, I guess, but the mixing is so fucking atrocious that it all just gets lost under a sea of mud. I'm feeling a flat 2 on that song. That is probably the worst so far. Liam Gallagher predicts 9/11. 6.5 minutes, fuck me. Final song, roll it over. Guitar tones are reminding me of Foo Fighters for some reason. Noel gave the go-ahead to Osama. Predicts 9/11. We're not doing the rest of the Discog. I was paid for one album, and one album only. Same as Sunday Morning Call. This song's just boring. Another snooze fest. Yeah. It's just such a nothing burger of a song. It's not bad. It's not good either. Nothing's fucking happening. Get on with it! Oh my god! Why is this song taking so damn long? It doesn't even feel like it's building. It feels like I've been stuck in an endless fucking loop. TikTok attention span. One of my favorite bands puts out like 30-minute songs, and they are paced perfectly. What the fuck? There's a difference between me just not liking long songs and songs being poorly paced. Look, that song, it was cruising at a 5 out of 10 for the first 2/3. It was just kind of boring. And then it got aggravating. And then it started actively annoying me that the song just kept going and going and going and going and going. Holy shit. Yeah, this is proof of why pacing is so important. Pacing is imperative to how well a song works. And this is fucking torture. I am feeling like a flat 4 on that song. A flat 4. Yeah, I don't know. The song was just uninteresting for the most part. It was just painfully boring. And then it just trailed on way too long. The band have no fucking sense of pacing on that song, dude. It's over. Hey, you know what? This album, it's better than I thought it was going to be. This album is actually not the worst thing on the planet. It's a mixed bag. There are some pretty fucking terrible songs on here, but there's actually some interesting ideas throughout this, and it feels like Oasis are actually trying to experiment and switch up their sounds here, which I respect the hell out of that. They are working in a lot of sampling. They're working in a lot of electronics here. It feels like they are trying to do more different, interesting stuff with the production, and while I don't think it pays off in the fucking slightest, I actually respect them for trying something new. This is kind of what I want Oasis to do. I don't want them to just try and recreate Definitely Maybe and Morning Glory over and over again. I like that they are spreading their wings and that they're trying to do something different here. I really, really appreciate it. Now, would I say I like the album? Absolutely not. I think that this album has some pretty disastrous flaws. In particular, the mixing that I feel like is such a step back from Be Here Now. Be Here Now, people really don't like the wall of sound that is Be Here Now's production, but I think that that wall of sound kind of allows the band to create these massive, actual stadium-sized songs like they attempt to on Morning Glory and Definitely Maybe, and they're not able to there. That album, Be Here Now, actually feels like they are able to capture that. And I really, really like the overall sound of that album, even though I don't love all of the songs. This feels like such a step back, and them kind of going back into, like, losing a lot of their dynamic range, losing a lot of their sense of tension and their ability to build up songs. Everything here just kind of feels like it's so just mismatched in terms of where it's placed mixing-wise. There are 2 songs on here that, like, one of them is unfinished and the other one sounds unfinished. Like, come on, man. Not finishing your songs for the sake of reaching a deadline for a concert? Such shitty practice. That's really shitty practice, and just shows that the band kind of don't really care about the artistic side all that much. Like, they care enough to try and branch out a little bit, but they just rush the album out for the fucking sake of a concert. That's just such bullshit strategizing. And it's stuff like that that make me not like this band. It's pretty obvious that, you know, while they may care to some extent, it's not to that far an extent. And I don't know, that's kind of why I stopped talking about them. So I was like, the band don't care about the music. I don't care about the music. I don't care for the people who make the music. And people get upset when I talk about the music, so I had no reason to. But you know what? I'm glad I listened to this. I'm feeling a flat 5 on this album. Better than I was expecting. It's not the worst thing on the planet. It's really not. This album is easily better than Morning Glory and Definitely Maybe. 100%. I still think Be Here Now is their strongest work, but this album is second place for me in terms of the Oasis discography right now. I think that this album's strengths and its weaknesses balance out evenly. There are some good songs, there's a great song, there are some mid songs, and there's 2 dog shit songs. Right down the middle, 5 out of 10. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album down below. How does it compare to other Oasis albums for you? Also, a massive thank you to Statius for editing this video. Of course, link to his channel in the description, as I said in the intro. Let me know what other albums you'd like me to listen to in the future down below as well. Check out the links in the description to my Discord, my Album of the Year, my Twitter, and my other channels. Like and sub as well. We are on our way to 3K. And yeah, I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye-bye.